Hey there, Papa's Posse. Don't forget about that QR code. Take you to my eBay, YouTube, and Instagram page. Welcome back to the channel, Papa's Posse. It's Papa's Comic Books, Coffee, and more. And today we have Edgar Rice Burroughs' John Carter, Warlord of Mars. Number 22. This book was 35 cents back in 1978. Title of the story, Climb to Freedom, by Chris Claremont and Mike Vosberg. Now don't forget, excuse me, this book and others are available on my eBay page, Papa's-Comic-Books. Please hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. Let's see what's going on. What lurks at the end of Carter and Dijon's treacherous 8-mile climb from the Canyon of Despair. The Climb to Freedom. The Master Assassin of Mars, Chapter 7. Only a few minutes ago, everything seemed to be good, so, well, Chan Tomar, the decadent evil Jeddak of the Caranthar, the city of winged men, was dead, and my friend and commander, Gar Karis, acclaimed ruler in his place. I thought Deja Dors and I had nothing more to fear. I was wrong. Warriors, seize them! I am sorry, my friend, but you too have transgressed our most ancient laws. You have slain our Jeddak. Return them to the arena, Tidwar, though it breaks my heart to give this command before the zone ends. John Carter and Dejan Doris must die. In the giant arena outside the chamber, I had just fought and killed a bandit barehanded. I ached to the very core of my being. Yet, as Gar Karistem condemned us, I struck without hesitation, and with all my fabled earthly strength. Got to go for broke. No holding back. My Jeddak looked out. This is all or nothing. If I fall, Deja and I are finished. I sprang for the Padwar, holding my weapons, crossing the chamber in a single leap. He thought I was going for my swords. He couldn't have been more wrong. For weeks I've been pretended that my radiant pistol was no more than a harmless ornament. Guns are unknown in Caranthar. I thought this would make an invaluable ace in the hole. Now we'll see if I'm right. I scattered my shots around the room, firing the explosive shells above the heads of the Orador warriors. Guard, Carcass, Jada, what is happening? Everyone outside, take to the air before the roof collapsed. I knew many of the warriors in the Jeddak's guard, had fought back to back with them in the recent war against Pithoth. If it can be avoided, I did not want their blood on my hands. Besides, a blind panic was better for my purposes than a massacre. And amid the smoke and confusion, Deja and I made our escape from the hanging city. No pursuit so far. My barrage must have shaken them more than I thought. Where are we going? This path leads to the valley outside the great cave into my cache of supplies. It's not far, Deja. Can you make it? If you can, my love, I can. I sound braver than I feel. Shoulder wound hurts. Can't stop the bleeding. Or you can get a t-shirt lettering, or you can get new comic books, whatever you want. Okay, here we go. Here we are. The best climbing equipment a man can improvise. Rope, pitons, crampons, ice hacks, and goggles, plus the necessities of life, food, water, and my emergency pack of Sola's miracle healing potions. John, the ground was so high. About 2 hads. And I'm afraid we've got about 20 more to go, straight up. It's not possible. 1 had equals about 1/3 of a mile. Hush, there, 1. And trust me, I know you Barsumians know nothing of climbing, but I've scaled far worse cliffs of my native earth. I was lying there. Was nothing on earth to equal this, and it was years since my last climb. But I would die before letting Deja see my apprehension. Before we get started, though, I want to look at that wound. John, behind you! I should have known our luck was too good to last. All around us, the sky was filled with winged warriors. On this narrow cliff sidetrack, we were wide open to their attack. Bowman! Watch! John Carter! If he makes his move, slay him. No! In one smooth motion, Deja brought up my radiant pistol, and it fired. With a deadly pinpoint accuracy that would have astounded even the awesome green marksman of Thork. The Orvars were brave men, but they were facing something far beyond their ken. For a few minutes they held their ranks, but then, as Deja's volley claimed life after life, they broke, ran. We have to hurry. They'll return as soon as Karis rallies them. Hold me tight, as you can, my princess. I took a deep breath and leapt as I had never leapt before. More monkey or mountain goat than human, I scrambled up the jumbled spree that formed the base of this massive cliff in 100-foot jumps, touching down barely a second time at a time, grabbing for hand and foot holds by sheer instinct. In my mad attempt to outdistance our pursuit, no, Teed, War, call your men back. If John Carter prefers death on the wall around the world, the death is the arena, so be it. Garkarsh, should we follow? No, call your men back, okay. And Shogun warriors. By evening, we had come far. I had ceased my jackrabbit antics long ago, and after I had redressed Deja's wounded arm, we started up the face of the cliff. As I expected, it was rough going. From the beginning, natural pathways were few and far between, and all too often I was forced to use one of my precious supplies, pitons, to anchor us to the rock. Hard as it was for me though, I knew it must be infinitely worse for Deja, weak from loss of blood, unused to this kind of sustained, specialized exertion. Her feet clad in gossamer court slippers, while mine wore boots. Yet, through it all, not one word of complaint escaped her lips. Deja may be a novice climber, but she's learning quickly. She's better than I was at my first climb. How are you doing, my love? Fine, my chieftain. Why aren't we climbing faster? She's hiding it well, but she's almost worn out, and it's almost dark, too. We have to find a place to spend the night, and soon. A few minutes later, my prayers were answered by a god or goddesses with a nasty sense of humor. It was a ledge so small that neither Deja nor I could lie flat. Indeed, I had the feeling that the slightest wrong move would topple us over the edge to oblivion. But we had little choice. Kiss, Beth. I hear you calling. And you can play guitar in 7 days. Okay, not quite our bedroom back in Helium, I'm afraid. So long as you are by my side, husband, I am content. Let me see your arm. Chan Tomar's arrow had been bitten deep into thanks to Sola's poultices. There was no infection. In a day or so, the wound would be completely healed. I hammered a python into the cliff and faced and roped us to the rock. Then gathered my wife close to me, warming her body with my own as the night grew dark around us. To pass the time and take our minds off the awful cold of the Martian night, I told her of the mountains I'd climbed in the earth, the Alps in Europe, the American Rockies, and the Himalayas. I spoke of the summer I'd made my way through Tibet and Nepal, moving from Lamassari to Lamassari, each day filling my eyes with wonders beyond compare. And then in September I beheld the peak of Shira, guides called the goddess mother of the world, Mount Everest. It seemed to be higher than the sky itself, and being full of the impetuous arrogance of youth, I wanted to be the first to conquer her. My guides laughed. My brain knew they were right. We were only on Everest's lowest slopes, yet the air was already so thin we could hardly breathe. To press forward would mean certain death. Yet my warrior's heart didn't care. In the end, Everest won. I turned away, carrying with me a memory I'll cherish till I die. Deja, She's asleep. So much for my storytelling. Sleep. Well, dear one, you'll need all your strength tomorrow. I couldn't sleep. I kept remembering how she turned away from me in the dungeons below. Car. Author sobbing that she was no longer worthy of me. Then she had dishonored her ancestors. The wall she built between us was gone now, but I knew it would be returned, and I was afraid. At dawn, we were on the move, pitting our courage and sinews not only against the cliff, but against the terrible hurricane winds that scoured the valley each morning. A lovely way to begin the day, John. I'm glad someone's enjoying themselves, but don't try to talk, Deja. Sand will get in your mouth and choke you. The storm's slowing us to a crawl. Even with my makeshift goggles, it's almost blind. Suddenly, disaster. Issues. No. The strap's torn. The pack's falling. Got to grab it. John. I locked my hand around the safety rope. But this pitton, I'm not sure if it's anchored in the rock. The strain could pull it free. Deja, can you pull yourself up? I'll try. He caught her. After 10 of the longest, most harrowing minutes of my life, Deja reached me safely. Soon after that, the winds faded and we pushed steadily on. We could no longer see the ground nor the cliff top above us. Our world had become an unending vertical wall of rock. Then, when I felt myself yielding to black despair, the way eased a little. We found pathways up the rock face where with pythons our crampons weren't needed. And finally, in late afternoon, wonder of wonders, caves. The cliff is pock-marked with them. How nice. At least our second night of the wall will be gentler than the first. If I can hunt up some tinder, Deja, we'll even have a fire. Deja, John! With a sigh, she crumbled to the ground unconscious. Of all the stupid, the fall must have reopened her wound, and I was too preoccupied and blind to notice. Boom! Her pulse is weak, but steady. I've got to get her inside one of these caves. Get a fire started. Oh! What can happen? We'll have to ask Captain America what happens. Or the Spider-Man what happens. Or the Draftsman what happens. Let's see. The blow caught me completely unawares, but once again my earthly constitution enabled me to survive an impact that would have crushed the normal Barsoomian. I was stunned, but otherwise unhurt as I rolled to my feet, short sword in hand, to find myself face to face with one of the great white apes of the Bargoon. For an instant, I contemplated drawing my radiant pistol, but I dared not. True, the explosive bullets would probably kill the four-armed albino monster, but they might also trigger an avalanche. If I was to save Deja and myself, I would have to slay the beast hand to hand. As it sprang, I ducked under its arms and plunged my sword hilt deep into its chest, while straining to keep its yellow fangs from my throat. Time and again I struck, trying to reach the ape's heart. Behind us, unnoticed, Deja had recovered her senses, just in time to see the fragile ledge crumbling beneath our feet. Great issues, no, John. Great issues, no, John. Then there's Power Man and Iron Fist. What's going to happen? Later, that's the last of our rations. A pity the ape fell off the cliff. He'd have made a good meal. John, tell me more of your world. More. You fell asleep last time, only at the end. All right, Princess, your wish is my command. I spoke of Richmond, capital of my beloved Virginia. In that gorgeous spring of 1861, the Civil War had just begun, but on the soft April night, we had no thoughts of the Holocaust to come. This was the last ball before all the young men went off to war, and our thoughts were understandably of life. In my mind's eye, I saw myself enter with my lady, Deja Thoris. We were the envy of all the present as we waltzed the night away. And then the scene changed, and a captain in the army of Northern Virginia became a warrior prince of Helium. His lady, the daughter of the king, and the dream became reality. Was it only 10 years ago? It seems like an eternity. Deja, remind me sometime to teach you how to waltz. You sound so sad. I am, a bit, but the war is done now, the dead long buried. We live, we love, that matters nothing else. We rested a day in the cave. I was gambling that a good night's sleep would make up for the lack of food. At first, we did well, but as the day wore on, Deja became progressively weaker. I had run out of pitons hours ago, and my fingers were bloody from scratching handholds in the rock. I knew we'd reached the end of our endurance. And then, just before sunset, what? At first I didn't understand. I thought I had gone blind or mad, so I tried to climb empty air. It was only after I fell flat on my face that I realized the truth. There's no more cliff. By all God's angels, Deja, we've done it. We've reached the top. Hooray! But John, we're still lost in the middle of nowhere, 100 karads from civilization. How will we get home or even survive? One problem at a time, woman. First we need some shelter for night, then some food. Muscles screaming a protest, I picked Deja up and started walking. Hoch-like cupcake. I'd gone all of a dozen steps before a flash of light stopped me dead in my tracks. I couldn't believe my eyes. Of our luck, it was Deja's flyer. Somehow, when our two airships had been torn apart weeks ago, the winds had thrown hers out of the valley. See, my love, it's as I told you. Everything's going to be all right. Time passed. There's a lot of structural damage, and the engines are total write-off. This crate will never fly again. There's power for the wireless communicator, but it's only a short-range set, so we're just too far off the beaten track. We call for help, and we'll probably be answered by the Guild of Assassins. On the plus side, the ship's well stocked with food, water, weapons, all we need if we decide to hoof it. It's a long, dangerous walk, but it's beginning to look like we've no alternative to this. Car, my chieftain. When I woke up, I was alone, so I had to wash, and I came to find you. How do you feel? A little weak still, but better than I've ever felt in weeks. In a few days, when I'm rested, I'll continue my mission. What? Take on the Guild of Assassins all by yourself? Your tone. Do you mock me, husband? I perish the thought. But since you seem so eager to make war, I suppose I'll just have to oblige. Oh, you've been practicing. Yes, I intend to win this training duel. For long minutes, our swords rung in the still of air. Unfortunately, we became so engrossed in our mock fight that we failed to sense our danger. Until it was too late. John, blood of my first ancestor is in that airship. It's so huge. Warriors, lay down your weapons and stand where you are, or face instant annihilation at the hands of the Guild of Assassins. Oh no, all that climbing for nothing? All right, well that was Warlord of the Mars, John Carter's, number 22, 35 cents from 1978. I hope you enjoyed that little reading. And don't forget, this book and others are available on my eBay page, Papa's-Comic-Books. Please hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. And as Papa and John Carter always say,
that was easy.
Until next time, Papa is out.